Good morning, everybody. This is day 4 for me, off of Kratom again, for real this time. Um, I am feeling a lot better today. This withdrawal is so much easier in some ways than the last time when I withdraw it off of 40 grams a day. By the way, I'm only about 125 pounds, so that's equivalent to, I guess, a male taking about 65, 70 grams a day. So I was taking probably the max that people take, heavily in the addiction. But this time I got off, I was only taking about 12 or 13 regularly, and 12 or 13 grams. And this time it's not as bad physically. Of course, I'm taking GABA, ashwagandha, kava tea, and magnesium, which I did not do last time. Last time, I just did full on cold turkey, and I'll tell you, I wish I would have known about just what I was getting into with that withdrawal, because it was, well, in a way, I'm glad I went through it because it really allowed me to see how much kratom was affecting my body the first time. Last year at this time, I quit kratom for 9 months. So anyway, here I am again, quitting again for good, because I gave it another go and I realized I just don't need this stuff. I don't want it and I don't need it. So here's some things I want to talk about. Because a lot of people, they focus a lot on the opioid part or opiate part, whatever you want to say. Let's just say it hits the opiate receptors and it does it in a very nice way. So a lot of people want to focus on that regarding withdrawal and regarding the, I guess, the pain relief or mental relief. But I think more for me, why got so into kratom was because it also binds to the serotonin receptors. And I'm sorry, I'm not in the medical field, so if I hack this, just roll with me for a minute. But I think that for me, it was more about the dopamine and serotonin. And then the opiate part was wonderful too. Don't get me wrong. I've never experienced opiates. So I mean, I have, but not regularly. I've done a Percocet after I gave birth. I've done Oxycontin one time, which was amazing. But no, these things were never something I regularly took because, first of all, they're extremely expensive, and secondly, I'm not a person that's had any pain. So I can't get my hands on that stuff, and I certainly don't have the money for it. So I never got into it. But yes, opiates are wonderful. Okay, we all know this. But for me, I think what got me so into kratom was the dopamine and serotonin part, okay? Because I struggle more with the mental anguish. I'm not so much in pain. It's more for me, it's extreme emotions, things like that. I just get in a tizzy sometimes. So anyway, what I want to say is that today is day 4. This withdrawal is more mental than physical. For me right now, I'm just experiencing depression, anhedonia, which is a word that means inability to feel pleasure, and that's a big one for quitting kratom. Is you really suffer from anhedonia. You're just not finding pleasure. Now, that's very similar to SSRIs. People who take antidepressants, when they come off of them, they have anhedonia. Okay. So this is something interesting about kratom, is that it's like coming off of both an opiate and a SSRI. That's what makes it such an incredibly difficult withdrawal for a lot of people, okay? And this is something I don't hear people really talking about, is the fact that it is like coming off of a antidepressant and an opiate. So it's a double whammy. Okay, so that's what, when people say kratom is a real mental withdrawal, that's what they're talking about. So that's the part that I think I struggle with the most. I also, just don't really have much motivation. My appetite is terrible. I'm forcing myself to eat. Last time I came off of kratom, I lost a lot of weight and I looked awful. I put the weight back on. It took me a couple months. This time it's not too terrible because like I said, I didn't let my addiction get out of control, but nonetheless, it was getting out of control. So, um, this time my appetite it's there, but it's not kicking yet. I want to eat more. I want to. Today I'm going to make sure I go for a walk because that's something I haven't been able to bring myself to do. Um, and I need to get out there because, guys, I've been an exercise person for a long time. I love to exercise outside. I don't go to gyms. I like to go outside. I like to hike. I'm a big hiker. I love the beach. I love going to mountains and rivers, and this is something that my passion, one of my passions in life is outdoor exercise activity. So I am going to force myself to go on a walk today. And I noticed the other day when I recorded my video day 2, my brain was so slow. And so that's another thing coming off of this stuff is your brain is not working very well because your dopamine is down, down, down. Um, my patience isn't that great either. I find myself just feeling frustrated just with the little stuff, the little stuff. It's like, it's like, it just feels like getting up and starting the day just feels monotonous and it feels pointless, okay? And like you don't have patience for it. Again, this is not something I've never been like that. I used to wake up excited for the day. I remember those days. I used to wake up excited about what I was going to wear, what I was going to do. When you are on kratom in your addiction and also when you come off, those things seem the opposite. You're just not excited about any of that. And I know libido is a taboo topic, but I just want to also say that that is something that has not come back, and I don't expect it to come back for a while because, again, it's just like an SSRI in that it completely annihilates your libido, okay? Let's just be honest about that. I think a lot of people in the kratom community, which, it's a really diverse community. There's a bunch of people that hate it, there's a bunch of people that love it, there's a bunch of people that are in between. And but for me, the libido thing is a really big issue, and nobody seems to want to talk about it unless they are against kratom once and for all. They've been down the kratom road and they just absolutely detest the drug or whatever you want to call it. I just am going to go ahead and call it a drug. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but to me, it's a drug. It changes your brain chemistry. So last night also was the first night I got good sleep. Thank God. The previous nights I was tossing and turning, getting hot and cold. One thing I want to say about kratom, when you're on kratom, even at a low dose, even at a high dose, a low dose, you're always, I don't know, from what I understand, this is just me and also other people I've talked to, you go to the bathroom quite a bit at night. That has to do with some dehydration. I don't really know the exact reason why it makes you go to the bathroom at night, but it used to really bother me to have to wake up at 1 in the morning to go to the bathroom. Again, me in regular life, that was never happened, okay? So, last night that did not happen. Thank God, I was able to sleep through the whole night, not have to go to the bathroom, uninterrupted, unmitigated sleep. Wonderful, wonderful. Had I been on 40 grams, coming off of 40 grams, I wouldn't be sleeping. I can promise you that. coming off of 40 grams, it probably took a month and a half to actually sleep. So just that was a whole nother game altogether. Um, so that's all I really want to say is just kind of there's a big difference between coming off of a lot of kratom and coming off of a little kratom, but one common thing is the anhedonia, just the Eeyore effect, just feeling like you're moping around, hunched over, unmotivated. It's just pathetic. And I can't wait to get my brain back on track. So I think that's why everybody seems so confused about this withdrawal, kratom withdrawal, because they can't quite pinpoint what it is. Well, yes, it is an opiate withdrawal. It's mimics that. No, it's not as difficult as heroin or maybe Oxycontin, but it's very mental because of the serotonin effect, the SSRI similarity. It's a double whammy. It's coming off of both. So that's what makes it, such a, I guess I don't know how to say it, but it just makes it sort of a hodgepodge of a withdrawal. Okay. I guess that's the best way I can say it. And it's hard for people to understand what is actually happening. And I just want to clear that up. And, I'm feeling just a lot better. I'm excited. I'm going to get my life back on track. I am never going to touch this stuff again. And I am telling you guys that I don't regret it, but it's going out of my life. And I am so excited about my future. And I definitely want to just let people know what they're getting into with this plant, okay? And by the way, I'm sorry I called it an herb in my last video. Again, I was like half brain dead. I know it's not an herb. I know it's coming from a tree in Malaysia. I know a lot about this stuff. I just was absolutely brain dead. But I'm glad I recorded that video because it's going to allow me to kind of reflect on just how slow and pathetic I felt that day coming off on day 2. So now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm going to really get out there and I'm going to get my brain chemistry back on track. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. And I want to say that, the reason I think I relapsed at the 9-month mark is because of the SSRI similarity. Okay? Something about this plant really bothers the serotonin and dopamine system, and it kind of has a boomerang effect. So you get off of the stuff, you start to feel good again, and then all of a sudden around 6 months, I hear a lot of people 6 months, 9 months, all of a sudden you're like just so down. And that's what happened to me last time. And I swore I wasn't gonna fall into that, because I was aware of the pink cloud effect, and I was aware of all that. But it hit me because I was kind of arrogant. I thought, I'm totally over it. I'm totally over it. I don't even have to worry about that. And then boom, the Eeyore effect hit me, and I went back to the kratom because I felt this depression, like, what's there to live for? Who wants to be in this? And so, who wants to be sober type of thing, And of course, kratom being my number one drug of choice, absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally, kratom has been a love affair. So for me, so I went back to it, and this time I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. This year, 2023, is going to be a kratom-free year. So that's why I say kratom free in 2023, and I'm having it as like a slogan in my mind. And I'm even feeling good, and I might even do a video with my actual face. I am such a private person, but you know what? I may just do that just to, kind of show people who I am. And I know it's more personal when you actually see somebody. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good day. I want to encourage you that you can do this. If you're coming off of a major, major amount, I feel for you. I feel for you. I mean, I could not taper. I had to go cold turkey off that amount. which was shocking to my system. I mean, an absolute lightning bolt. So I feel for you if you do that. And if you do that, I want to encourage you and tell you that you learn a lot from coming off of that stuff cold turkey at a high addiction intake. I learned so much through that intense withdrawal about my brain, my body, myself. That was similar to like a monk putting themselves through a bunch of pain just for, I guess they do it for purposes of reaching nirvana or whatever you want to say. I don't know the exact reason they do it. I know it in my mind. I just can't communicate it. But you know, it coming off a kratom like that was sort of like I felt like a monk torturing myself. And you really learn a lot. I'm telling you guys. So if you are doing that, or if you have to do it that way, just sort of look at it as like, I am going to put myself through all this pain for a learning lesson. And you will learn a lot, because I've never been through that kind of, I mean, I have gone through a lot of stuff. I've given birth twice. I've been through a lot, especially mentally, but that withdrawal, I can't even imagine anything worse. I just can't. It's like the pits of hell. So when you come out of that withdrawal, is what I'm saying, that's where you're like, wow, I learned a lot from that pain, that suffering, because you know, suffering brings revelation. You know, we're in a society where we're always trying to feel good, you know, like feel good, whatever feels good. And you know, but the real ticket to wisdom and growth is suffering. So if you are a kratom addict at a high, you know, if you are doing a withdrawal cold turkey, try to look at it like that. That's how I looked at it. And take a lot of warm baths. Anyways, guys, I just am excited. And I hope you all have a great day. And I hope 2023 is off to a good start. And I will talk to you later. Thank you.